right, so get ready because tonight we're diving deep into, spooky sleepover stories.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
And specifically, those stories from the YouTube channel Mr. Nightmare.
Okay, yeah, I know Mr. Nightmare.
Yeah, where people send in their own experiences. They're like, is this real?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're looking at today. We're not just going to retell these stories, though, but we're also going to kind of look for the patterns and what makes them effective, and think, like, are these things true? Could they be true?
Yeah, I always find it interesting, like, especially with these Mr. Nightmare stories. It's like, they really prey on, like, the fear of the unknown.
Right.
It's like you watch a horror movie, you can see the threat.
Right.
But, like, with these stories, it's all, like, in your head, and you kind of have to, like, imagine it. And sometimes that can be, like, way scarier.
Oh, yeah. Like, our minds just fill in the blanks with, like, the worst possible thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So the first story we're going to look at is the prank call. And it's about these two teenage boys who are home alone and, they're bored and they decide to make some prank calls.
Okay.
Which, seems harmless enough.
Mm-hmm.
But they call this one number and things take a very creepy turn.
I see. Yeah. This is that trope where it's like they start out having fun, but then like suddenly everything gets real serious and scary.
Right, exactly.
It really pulls you in, Because it's like that could happen to anyone, right?
Yeah.
You're just having fun, then bam, you're in a nightmare.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes you realize how quickly things can change.
Yeah. So one of the boys, Anthony, he's on the phone with this unknown number.
Okay.
And he's just like making these silly jokes,
Yeah.
But then the person on the other end says something really strange.
Oh, what?
He's like, really? You sure it's not Anthony?
Whoa, okay, creepy.
And what's weird is that the caller ID showed the father's name.
So how did he know Anthony's name?
Right, is it just a coincidence?
Maybe.
Like a technical glitch?
Could be.
Or is it something, more sinister?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, what if there are things we just don't understand? Like,
Right.
what if our technology isn't as reliable as we think?
Right.
It's like, are we really in control?
Yeah, and remember, these boys are already home alone, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So they're already isolated.
Exactly. Totally isolated, and they're starting to freak out.
Oh, I bet.
So they try to find this number online, trying to figure out, like, who this could be. But then they hear the front door open.
Oh, no.
And imagine the terror.
Oh, my God. I would be terrified.
Right.
Like, your safe space, your home is suddenly invaded.
Yeah.
That's like a primal fear.
And the story builds the suspense so well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can almost hear that doorknob turning.
Yeah. That slow creak of the door.
It's like you're right there with them.
Yeah, totally.
And it just makes you think about, like, our instinct to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
To protect our homes from outside threats. So they peek out the window.
Okay.
And they see this tall, shadowy figure outside.
Oh, no.
And of course, they immediately think it's the creepy caller.
Right.
So they scramble to hide. Their hearts are pounding.
Oh, my bed.
And you know what I love about the way this figure's described?
What's that?
It's never fully described.
Oh, yeah. It's just this shadowy presence.
Right. And it lets the listener's imagination
Run wild.
take over.
Totally.
Fill in the blanks with their own fears.
It's so smart. Mr. Nightmare really knows how to get under your skin.
So they end up hiding under the bed, right?
Okay.
Thinking they're safe. But then, this is the really creepy part.
What?
It's like the figure knows exactly where they are.
No way.
He goes straight to their hiding spot, like you can see them in the dark.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Right.
It's like he's been watching them, toying with them.
Yeah, and it plays on that fear of being hunted.
Right. That primal fear.
Like stalked by some predator you can't even see.
It's like something out of our evolutionary past,
Yeah.
Back when we were constantly on guard for predators. No wonder this story gets to people.
So they barely escape, running for their lives through the woods behind the house.
Oh my God.
It's chaos, they're desperate,
Yeah.
and the story really captures those sensory details.
Oh, yeah.
The leaves crunching under their feet, the feeling of being watched,
Oh, God, I can imagine it.
that pounding in their chests.
So, like, fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
It kicks in even though, it's just a story.
Right?
You can't help but feel that adrenaline.
They do eventually make it back to the house,
Okay.
but the fear is still there.
Of course.
They call the police,
Yeah.
but the man is never found.
Oh, wow.
So we're left with this, like, chilling unease.
Yeah.
Did he just vanish?
I mean, who knows?
Is he still out there,
It makes you wonder.
lurking in the shadows?
Ugh, so creepy. That unresolved ending is brilliant. It just keeps that fear alive.
Yeah, it makes you think, are they really safe?
Yeah, and it reminds you that there are things in this world that we might never fully understand.
Exactly.
Or
Control. And that last image of the story,
Yeah.
they see the man standing at the edge of the woods,
Oh, no.
watching them
Oh, God.
before he disappears into the darkness.
It's like he's always there,
Mm-hmm.
watching,
Uh-huh.
waiting.
It's chilling, right?
It really is.
It's like a reminder that even in our homes,
Yeah.
we're not truly alone.
Especially in this day and age
Oh.
with all the technology. It's like, who knows who's watching?
Yeah. And speaking of unresolved mysteries, our next story takes us to this seemingly ordinary house,
Okay.
but it has a very dark secret.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. This one's called The Locked Rooms.
All right, let's hear it. So this story, The Locked Rooms, it starts with this guy, right? And he's just had this big fight with his wife.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I need to get out of here.
Right.
So he goes to stay at his friend's house.
Makes sense.
But little does he know,
Right.
he's walking into a whole different kind of messed up situation.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got this guy. He's crashing at his friend's place, right? Looking for a peaceful night, maybe?
Exactly.
But then he finds out that there are these 2 rooms in the house,
Uh-huh.
and they're always kept locked.
Oh, interesting.
And like immediately you get this feeling like, what's in there? Why are they locked?
It's like that natural human curiosity, you know, but also like a bit of suspicion.
Yeah.
Like, what are they hiding?
And in horror, right? Those secrets.
Oh, they always lead to something bad.
Exactly.
It's like they're just waiting to be unleashed.
So the guy tries to settle in for the night,
Okay.
but he keeps hearing these weird noises
Oh, no.
coming from like the room next to his one of the locked rooms.
Okay, so already the tension is building.
Right.
And Mr. Nightmare is a master at this, you know? He doesn't just throw the scare at you.
Right.
He slowly builds it up using sound.
Yeah, it starts with like this faint tapping.
Uh-huh. And then maybe some muffled voices.
Yeah. Like, what is going on in there?
It just chips away at your sense of security.
And of course, he finally asks his friend about it.
Right.
Like, hey, what's with the noises?
And what does the friend say?
Oh, the friend is like, oh, it's nothing. I just keep those rooms locked for personal reasons.
Typical.
But you can tell he's hiding something, right?
Oh, yeah. He's definitely got something to hide.
But he knows what's behind those doors,
Yeah.
and he doesn't want to open that can of worms.
It's like he understands the potential danger.
Yeah, and finally the guy's like, no, we have to check it out.
Oh, so they unlock the door.
Yeah, they open one of the rooms, and it's immediately obvious that someone's been in there.
No way.
The window's open, the closet's a mess.
Oh, that's creepy.
Someone's been sleeping in the bed.
It's like that violation of your space,
Right.
but it's also like the thought that something unseen has been there.
Yeah.
Like, what were they doing in there?
And it gets worse.
Oh, no. What now?
They find bloodstains on the sheets.
Bloodstains.
Yeah.
Oh, God, this is getting serious.
And a knife is missing from the kitchen.
Oh, no.
And all of the fringe valuables are gone.
Okay, so now it's not just creepy.
Right.
It's like dangerous.
The story goes from like a mystery
Yeah.
to a potential crime scene.
And those intruders.
They never catch them.
Oh, wow. That's even more unsettling.
Right.
Like, they're still out there somewhere.
And you're left wondering, like, who were they? What did they want?
It's like that feeling that you're not safe, even in your own home.
Exactly. That anyone could just come in and,
Take what they want.
yeah, it's a terrifying thought.
It is.
Especially when you think about our next story.
Oh, what's this one about?
It's called The First Sleepover.
Okay.
And it really focuses on those, like, childhood fears.
Oh, interesting.
That feeling of being vulnerable when you're away from home for the first time.
Yeah, I remember those days.
This one's a bit more subtle, though, right? It's not as in your face as the others.
More psychological.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. And it makes you think, right? After hearing all these stories from Mr. Nightmare,
Yeah,
are these just like scary stories for fun?
right.
Or is there something more to it?
I mean, that's what I love about them, you know? They really get you thinking.
Yeah, they stick with you.
Make you question what's real, what's not.
And I think, you know, part of what makes them so effective is that they tap into these very real fears we all have.
Oh, absolutely. Like, take that prank call story.
Uh-huh.
It really plays on that fear of technology, right? Like,
Yeah.
is our privacy really safe?
Yeah. Is someone always watching?
Exactly. It's like Big Brother, but even creepier.
And then with the locked dreams,
Yeah.
it's all about the things we keep hidden
The unknown.
and how those things can be dangerous.
Right. Like, what we try to repress can come back to haunt us.
It's like a psychological thriller, but with a real-world message.
Yeah, it makes you think about your own secrets, you know?
Totally.
And then there's the first sleepover. Ah, yeah, that one was different.
It's more about those childhood fears.
When everything is new and scary.
Right, your imagination runs wild.
And you don't really have the tools to, like, rationalize it.
Yeah, it's all about that feeling of vulnerability.
When you're away from home, in the dark.
Exactly. It's like prime time for your fears to take over.
And Mr. Nightmare does such a good job of capturing that.
So, like, what's the takeaway here? What can we learn from all these spooky stories?
I think it shows the power of storytelling, you know,
Ah.
how it can connect with our deepest fears.
Yeah, it reminds us that no matter how much we try to explain the world,
There will always be things we don't understand.
the unexplained,
And
the
mysterious.
things that go bump in the night.
Exactly.
And maybe that's why we love these stories so much.
Yeah.
It's a way to, like, confront our fears in a safe way.
To explore the darkness, but from a distance.
Right. It's like a controlled dose of terror
It gives you that little thrill.
without actually being in danger.
And maybe it helps us process those fears, you know.
Yeah, make sense of them.
So we're not as scared in real life.
Well, listeners, I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Mr. Nightmare.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Maybe you'll even check out his channel yourself.
But don't blame us if you can't sleep afterwards.
Right, you might want to leave the lights on for this one.
And remember, sometimes the scariest monsters
Yeah.
are the ones we create in our own minds.
We'll be back next time with another deep dive into a new topic.
Until then, sleep tight.
And don't let the bed bugs bite.